Hello and welcome to the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design, where our passion fruit has teeth and claws, but it's 10 times more satisfying. This is episode number 5 on Undiscovered Paradise Love. I am the lone name gamer as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the farmer. Thanks for joining us in this episode. This week we track and hunt for the beauty in Monster Hunter World.
But before that, let's take a look at this week's news. Shall we, my friend?
So many news.
So many news. So the first news of the day is we have preloading for Borderlands 3.
We complain? Oh, we got it.
Yay!
Those are doing.
Of course. It was our doing all the time. Yeah. We did it. All by ourselves.
The whole community was complaining.
Yeah, it was.
We're complaining quite a lot about that. So
yeah, it was just like ridiculous. It's like every single streamer out there was like, "Oh, what are you doing? Please get us this. We need to preload. We need to be ready for launch." There's like, we've been doing hype for you. Why are you like crippling us like down the way? That was the whole thing, right?
Yeah. I never thought they were not gonna do it. Like since there was so much outrage from not being able to preload the game, I figured out it was gonna happen.
Yeah, at some point, it was
it's really bad PR to have that much people complaining about such a minor detail for the launch. So.
Exactly, and the funny thing is this sparked a look back into the development of the actual Epic Store, because it's a problem of the Epic Store, right? The Epic Store, and they have some preload for some games, but they don't have preload for all games. And how do you know having preload for such a high
profile game?
Yeah, exactly. Such a high profile release game, it's ridiculous. You should have that high profile release game.
I agree.
And they just went in and oops, sorry, okay, we will do it. Don't worry. Don't stop yelling at us.
I did it again.
Oops, I did it again. You played with my heart, and I was stop it.
What? We love Britney.
All right, yeah, we do. And the next docket on the nuke, Cyberpunk 2077 is cutting his third-person scenes, sadly.
Sadly?
Well, it was a great complaint because all in the trailers and in the hype for the game, they did show third-person small cutscenes and the highlights, the customization of the. So the whole thing is there's a deep customization option at the beginning of Cyberpunk 2077, and if you're gonna be in first person all the time, what is the point, right? Because you by the developer's hand, the only point that you're gonna see your character is in mirrors or when you're driving, or very small points. And in the trailers, they were actually showing a bunch of good customization and a bunch of third person kind of cinematic kind of things.
Trailers are trailers. People have to be aware of that and not hype on those things. And there are gonna be downgrades from the trailers all the time. So
yeah, but they were actually complaining about it, because it was kind of promised that you will have some of the third person stuff.
I have to be honest. I think Cyberpunk is being overhyped.
Cyberpunk is being overhyped. Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
I think people have to be more mindful of their expectations and tone it down.
Oof. All right.
I feel like people are gonna get disappointed.
Oh my God, that's a real problem. That's something that can happen. To tell you the truth, I'm really hype about Cyberpunk because I love the developers. The developer did a very good job in the Witcher series. So we have a lot of faith on them. They have very good practices. They are very good developers. But I think
all of that is good and nice. Yeah. But teams change and just beware. like dude, like with everything in life, if your expectations are too high, you're gonna get disappointed.
All right, fair
No one,
enough.
no one lives up to a hype. That's not a thing.
So, oh my god! So you say like they're not gonna live it up to the hype?
No one does.
Well, yeah,
Tell me
that's
which
true.
game has ever lived to expectation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, that's so sad.
Destiny 2? No.
No, they didn't do it. Yeah. Looking for this thing here. I'll close this. Okay. Yeah. So you're saying that they're not gonna live it up to the hype? They're gonna be like,
I'm I'm just saying that it's probably gonna be a really good game,
yeah,
but we as a community cannot overhype. Like we have to be aware that there are gonna be downgrades from the trailers, that things are gonna get cut off in the process. Like they're probably now like finishing details, and they may figure out that it's too expensive or too time consuming to all the 3 stuff that they wanted to. So they made probably an executive decision of it's all in or all out, and
yeah. That's
maybe better for the narrative. So
yeah. And the thing is, like, I feel like they're under a microscope by now because they created too much hype.
yeah,
And they
you
have like
see?
this, and they have this like reputation of like they're this the super good guys in the industry. They do no wrong. So now everybody's like looking at them with
That-
like a big microscope,
Sure.
and like if they do like left kind of move in development, which makes sense. Like
There is no company that does no wrong. That's false.
all right, yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, so that's one of the things, right? That's one
Yeah.
of the bad things about like getting to that point when you have so much good press that every decision that you take, and is this like this is a purely like developer decision. It's like, oh yeah, we have to like launch this thing. It's getting like out of hand in terms of budget, and we're just gonna like
Or
make it,
time.
yeah, or whatever is the reason. They're just
Yeah.
gonna make it like first person shooter, and in every footage that we've seen in terms of gameplay is always first person in gameplay, right? We only see like third person in actual cutscenes and that sort of stuff. But in the majority of things, they were always like first person. So I find it that it's fine, but people is complaining, so we cover it here.
Yeah, people will always complain. I'm just saying, like we do know, like we have experienced enough releases of video games in the last couple of years to know that, yeah, like sometimes expectations get out of hand, and people have to just temper their expectations to actual reality. Like
Fair.
probably doing 3D cutscenes is like it's not probably, like it is an expensive thing, and it takes a lot of time to render and like model and animate all the stuff. So yeah, like if you want to meet a deadline that they have to, so you have to take decisions. You have to make decisions. That's
the reality of life. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that should be our slogan of our podcast. People will complain. At this point, every time we cover the news, it's like people will complain. But hey,
that's
people complaining will get us a preload for Borderlands 3. So it's not always bad that people complain.
no, I agree. I'm just saying maybe too much. Like don't give them. Let's wait for the game as well. Like we don't know
Yeah.
how the game is gonna look,
Yeah.
how the narrative is gonna work. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
let's wait.
All right. And in our last docket for the news, something very funny.
Oh yeah.
Something very pathetic that deserves to be like highlighted. And it's like, Star Wars Battlefront 2 comment on Reddit got the most downvoted Guinness World Record for this year's
Yeah.
Guinness book. And it's like
That's
this was the pride and accomplishment comment. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
was the pride
that
and
you needed
accomplishment.
to
comment.
grind your face off to unlock Darth
Darth
Vader, I
Vader.
think.
Yeah, it was like a skin
And
of
the
Darth Vader.
response to and the response to Backlash was like, oh no, it's an achievement, but like, dude, too much. Like
And it
no,
was
no one is
like,
buying that bullshit.
yeah, exactly. And it was like with this super controversial game full of loot boxes and crazy shit all the time. It's like ridiculous. What are you talking about? Are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
like it's ridiculous. You're charging us for everything. Your loot boxes are trash all the time. Uh and yeah, now we have it like actually commemorated in history. Go down in history as the infamous most downvoted comment, record
Yeah.
breaking.
Well deserved.
683,000 downvotes. Jesus.
Yep.
Absolutely
I hope they learned
ridiculous.
their lesson.
I
So
hope. I hope. We all hope they learn their lesson, but who knows?
yep.
Who knows, really? All right, with that, that's our news.
Yep.
So let's move on. And we
Let's
have
let's get into it.
let's get into our main topic. We have our disclaimer, of course, as usual.
As per usual.
As per usual, remember, people, that the discussions that we're having here are based on our opinion and our own in-game experiences. We do a little bit of research in case we have forgotten something or we need it clarified on something. We kind of do the actual look it up live. We are not journalists. We are not aiming to be game journalists. We're just a couple of dudes talking about video games with a little bit of our knowledge, and that's about it.
Yeah, and if you have corrections to us, feel free to contact us. We're
Yes.
super happy to
Yeah,
actually like learn stuff
we love
about the games that we.
we love to like integrate your feedback into the actual podcast. We always read questions and
Yep.
feedbacks and things that you send us. So please feel free to send us your stuff through, or leave it on the comments on YouTube. We check that. We check Twitter. We check what else? What else we check? We check
Our
our
mail
email.
account.
Yeah, and our individual tweets or wherever you want. Send us telling us that we're terrible or we're forgetting something. That's valid too.
It will always happen.
Yeah. So all right. So our deep dive. There you go.
There we go.
There we
Yeah.
go.
So this week we'll be talking about probably, in our opinion, or at least in my opinion,
yeah.
the best game of 2018. Monster
Absolutely.
Hunter World.
Game of the year 2018,
Yeah.
forever and ever.
Yeah, in my heart. Look.
No doubt about it. No doubt at all. It's Monster Hunter World, man, and it was like such a hit for everybody. I think it was like widely acclaimed
Yeah, but also tying this discussion to expectations. People were really like I not people, but like veterans on the Monster Hunter series
yeah.
were wary of the game because it was not going to release with as many monsters as they were used to,
Yeah.
and somehow it was not going to be as hard as the usual games on the main series.
Yeah.
But they seemed to be happy with the result of what happened in Monster Hunter World, and Capcom was actually pretty upfront of why. Like, for example, they were not going to release as many monsters. It's because basically they require complete new rigs and animations, like from the ground up, because there's a completely different engine. Well, for some of the previous games, they could just pop in the skeletons and just pop monsters fast.
Yep.
And I think Capcom was upfront about those kind of things, and the community had a really good reception of those.
Yeah. All that is true, and they deliver. Like, to tell the truth, like they actually deliver in an absolutely standing game. So they did it. They were like very wary. Like this franchise is an old franchise, and they were very wary to bring it to the Western world, because down here we have like different sensibilities, and they were worried that the pace of the game weren't gonna be like good enough to catch audiences, and it wasn't gonna sell. And because they're gonna like put it into the next generation, this like it was like a big investment of money, but I think it was like the right time and the right place, because we were like, this project started in the midst of when Capcom started to change his his perspective of how he make games, right? So far, Capcom, like till like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, were like just churning out franchises just to make money, like without thinking much, bad sequels, bad games all around, and internally they were seeing their stocks like going down, right? And they made a different decision because they were going the way of Konami, where Konami ended up being like pachinko machine. Though we used to make games, and now we only do pachinko machines and royalties, right?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and they were saying they were looking at this like they were going that way, right? That was their finances, like that's how it looked like for everybody involved. And then they decided that this was happening because they were like outsourcing a lot of their development to other studios outside Japan, right? Capcom is a purely Japanese developer from the beginning, right? Same as Konami. And they were saying that exercise of like um, getting the word to other sensibilities was causing them problems in like keeping focus on what was important in their games and in their franchises and all that, right?
Sure.
So they make the decision to only start to like pull back from that, like close the studios. They close the studios in England, and then they close the studio in the US, and only develop their games in-house in Japan with only Japanese producers and all the sensibilities and all that stuff, right?
If that's what they feel is the right direction to take, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Cannot blame them.
Yeah. So and then they did that, right? And I think that was a terrific decision. And then they took the most Japanese franchise, which is Monster Hunter World. I've never seen the light of day. There's another franchise that saw the light of day in the past from Capcom. Is something about like fighting robots, something like that. I don't remember well, but Monster Hunter World had like little to no releases on the Western market except for ports for the Wii U, I think it is.
Yeah.
Generations is in the Wii U, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Except for the compilation series on the Wii U, and it was like a very small release, no hype around it, it's still a weird franchise, and etc. So they did this on the back of changing their philosophy about developing games. And I think this release of Monster Hunter World, the worldly acclaim, the everybody loves, was the signal that they have to confirm to like, yeah, it's better if we do everything here on house, Japanese style, even if it takes us longer and it's like more complicated process to do. But I think the results speak for themselves, right?
Whatever worked for them, it's fine. Like just whatever works, do your thing and develop your game how you prefer. And yeah, the results are there. It's a really good game. It was acclaimed, had really good numbers. So
yeah, there you go. So
success.
it was fantastic, and that's kind of the midst of the launch of Monster Hunter World. In that thing, they released the word and everybody loved it. Everybody loved the weird Japanese things. Everybody loved the loot. So we start for the gameplay loop. Prepare, hunt, and craft. So how's that work, Lucho?
It's like you can boil down basically all your gameplay in Monster Hunter World to. I mean, we should mention like before anything else, we should mention that the goal of what's the game about? So it's hunting monsters, and you don't get anything else from the game. Like
yeah,
like the game is true to its title. The game is all about hunting monsters. That's it. And the main gameplay loop is before you go out to hunt a monster, you start in your base and you prepare everything you need. So you eat to get buffs, you prepare all your items, you look at your gear stuff, blah blah blah. Then you go to hunt. You hopefully successfully complete the hunt. Then you go back, craft better gear, better weapons, and rinse and repeat. Start crafting, start preparing again for the next one. And that's pretty much what the core of the game is.
Yeah, and that's the main gameplay loop.
Yeah, and I think that simplicity really really works for the game. Like, it's easier. It's really easy to get in the rhythm of the game.
Yep.
Like after the first couple of hunts, like you say, okay, yeah, that's the thing. That's how we do it. We just go, we eat with our cats that prepare food for us.
Yeah, that's so lovely. Yeah.
We go hunt, we go back, and we see what we get, what materials did we get, what can we craft.
Yes.
And we repeat. It's simple, but endearing. Like it's just easy to get into. That's my take on what the loop is. Like you don't have to go and do odd things or no, it's pretty straightforward, pretty streamlined.
Yeah, and
I love it. It's just easy concept, good execution.
And you get super used to it. Like it's super streamlined. Like you get to your base, you grab your stuff, you check your resources, and then you go eat always, and you have like dysentery thing, right? And then you go and take your resources, make your loadout, prepare, because that's one of the interesting thing about this game. Like preparation, like that step is super key. And it doesn't force it in you, right? You kind of like get used to it because you realize that you need it, right? It doesn't tell you like you have to take X, Y, C, D, F. It's just like one instance in the tutorial when they say like you should have like slinger ammo for flashing this beast, or you should take this other thing.
Yeah, like for sure when they like on the first couple of missions they teach you, this type of ammo is good for that. This type of ammo is good for that. Oh, you should collect the herbs to build potions, blah blah.
Yeah, you can make up traps for the monsters, blah blah blah. Yeah. But they never tell you.
But it's really organic how they show you.
Yeah, exactly. That's well put. It's like really organic about like, yeah, you need this, but and you end up doing certain loadouts for like whatever activity you're doing, which make it like more interesting in that part of the preparation loop.
Yep.
Which is like, I know that I'm gonna go to this place, so I should like take this trap and take this and make sure that I have this and this and this to make my hunt easier. And that you develop that organically, right? You don't need to like, I don't remember like seeing any like tutorial videos about preparation, like just far off. Like when I was farming stuff, that's when I like, you should take this because this potion is better than this other, and that was it. That was the whole thing. But you organically like developed this preparation about like what to take, what not to take, if you need to prepare more stuff on the field and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the game does a really good job on getting you into it, so you're never lost. Like you can pop into a game anytime you want, and you know what you want, what you have to. You know, like after playing for a couple of hours, you already know the things, and it's just natural. It's actually quite amazing how they smoothly introduce those mechanics in.
Absolutely, yeah. There is like very organic, and then you go to the part of like hunting the monster, which, oh my god, it's a discovery. Like I have such a good memories about like going to this place, beautiful environments, like insanely gorgeous level design, and they're like
it's a really good looking game.
Yeah, it's not like they're not big environments, like they're not big maps, but they make them feel big, right? They make you feel like when you go into the first map, and you start like walking through the tunnels and that sort, you feel like you're in a dense jungle that is really big, and then actual animals live there. And it's like really clever level design because it doesn't break in any point your immersion, even if you're like kind of corridors. If you look the map from above, it's just like a bunch of thick corridors going from one place to the other, and then big zones to hunt, right? Like 2-3 big zones to hunt inside the map.
Yeah, it's like a couple of interesting and rich, connected by corridors.
Yeah, and
That's what the maps are.
and they took this very interesting thing of verticality, like the maps are
Yeah,
layered one
very
inside the
cool.
other.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was like amazing. Like you throw yourself from a very high place and then you end up in the lower part of the map, and that makes the map feel really big because of the verticality. Even if in terms of area, they're not that big, but they have like generally 2 to 3 levels for each map, right? There's like
Yep.
one map who has little to no verticality, which is the desert map. That is more expansive than
Yeah,
anything else, but it has like some caverns. And that's the least verticality that you have. That you have like a subterranean part of the map, but the rest is like on top.
yeah, that's probably the least vertical, but it's one of the most open, where the actual fighting arenas are the largest.
The largest, yeah. So it makes it like, and that makes the hunt super clever. The AI of the monsters is fantastic, man. Those
It
are
is fantastic.
smart beasts, man. they will they will know when you're weak. They will know when to attack. They will know when to run away. They actually feel like living animals. They like go around. They eat stuff. They poop all everywhere.
Yeah,
um.
yeah, but let.
And,
So we know what the gameplay is, the gameplay loop.
yeah.
So what about the campaign / progression?
All right.
Because Monster Hunter has the hunter rank system that it's kind of a level, like a leveling system, but it's not really because it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, it's
Like the
like a
only
weird thing.
thing that it does is just gates certain activity.
Yeah,
So
and it's like in the reason why it gates is it because you need certain resources to get to like the higher activities. It's not because
oh
you
yeah,
need experience.
yeah, no, it's quite fair. Like they just gate it because they expect you to be able to do certain hunt and understand certain mechanics before moving you to the next step in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
And yeah,
what was your opinion? What are your thoughts on the campaign, which is kind of just a couple of questions at the beginning?
yeah. So I like it. I really like it. The very organic progression of the campaign, right? I feel like it's too segmented in terms of flow, but they do that to get used to the actual hunt loop, to get used to the gameplay loop, right? Because what
Do,
happens in
do
the
you
campaign
really
is,
think it's segmented?
yes, because what happened is,
Why?
let me explain. Because what happened is like they give you this mission, they give you this the first all the first part of the mission till you get to the base, right? That's one big mission, right? When you go there and then you are in the boat and then you go there and blah 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 and then you get to and then you get to the base, right? Once you get to the base, you don't have like an instant quest that you can go to after you are, because once you get to the quest you start experimenting with the weapons and choosing a weapons, which we'll talk a little
Sure.
bit
Yeah.
further. And then you go to the next quest, but you have to go and talk to the lady, talk to everybody in the camp so you get familiar. That's fine. That's like a tutorial kind of thing of all the parts of the camp, right? Once you talk with everybody in the camp, know what they all do and what is the functionality and what is the point of everybody, then they tell you, all right, so we have this mission, go and do it. And then you start acquainting yourself with the normal gameplay loop, right?
Yep.
The gameplay loop that you're going to use forever. Go talk to the handler, take a mission, post it, and then go to the mission, right? In a general sense of history campaign or a traditional campaign, you don't have that, right? The quests are given to you automatically and then you go and do it, right? You skip as many steps to do to keep the story flowing, right? But in the
I
case,
I I disagree with that. That's an option. Like That's not how I play story campaigns. Like I don't want to skip stuff.
You don't want to skip stuff, but that's not what I mean. You want to keep the campaign flowing faster than in Monster Hunter, right?
I don't
And
know.
and I'm not saying that it's bad, right? I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that it's the nature of the campaign because of how the actual system is constructed. Because they have to get the player used to prepare before a hunt, right? And for the flow of a campaign, that is downtime. It's not bad or good. It's just the nature of the game, right?
Sure.
So that's my point. The campaign is segmented because of that, because they have to get you used to that loop, right?
I would make an argument that that's not that uncommon for these type of games.
For like RPG kind of.
For RPGs, yeah.
Well, I will argue that yes, that you're not. I will say that you're right, but it's very noticeable in Monster Hunter. Right? Because, for example,
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true because you spent a lot of time actually like crafting stuff and going through systems and looking at the pretty weapons and stuff. So
yes,
you could make your downtime, quote unquote,
faster for a campaign. If you want to tell that first story till Xenojiva, till spoilers, I'm sorry. Spoilers ahead! Spoilers!
Full spoilers. Basically, a spoiler for Monster Hunter is that people don't like to know in advance what the monsters at the end of the game are. Yeah. So they want to experience the monsters on their own. So full spoiler disclaimer. We're going to talk about all the monsters. So
spoilers. Anyways, so till you get to Xenojiva, for me as a game designer, I could have done that without taking the player to the base more than 2 times, right?
I'm gonna argue against that for one simple reason, and is that the storytelling method that the game uses is quite simple, and if you compress that, you'll feel really, really dumb because all the story is we found a dangerous thing in the world. Go hunt it. Go back. Oh, you got it. Now there's this other thing in the world. Go hunt it. Oh, I go. And if you put all those things like one after the other, it's pretty silly. It's really, really silly.
You're telling me that. You're telling me that it's very silly. Like, no, imagine this scenario. You're doing the campaign, right? And you know that you have to go and like track Sora Magdaros because he's a big monster and we don't know where he's going and blah, 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 right? So what happens if you make all the preparations that you will make in the base in the actual maps, right? I'm talking about like if you need to craft stuff on the blacksmith, you can do it in the encampment for the story, right? That way the story will be slightly more fluid in the sense that it will keep you on the places, right?
I see your point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, still my argument is that since the storytelling trope that they're using for their game is so simple, like the fact that it's so segmented, as you mentioned, it works in their favor.
Yes, I will say yes to that. I will agree with you.
I wouldn't change it like to make a more fluid campaign. Because the campaign, if you're being honest, is kind of empty. It's like, we found a monster. Let's go hunt it. Oh, do you see these energy footprints? We have to go to them. Oh, let's go hunt it.
Yeah.
That's what the story is.
And then you talk with the weird elves that they're weird elves.
But like one of the things that I figure out while playing this game is that they do know that their game is not about story, and they don't try to sell you that.
Yeah,
they feel that they sell you more than a narrative experience.
They say
it's definitely the exploration.
Yeah.
And
everything is
they're just smart. Like
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't
Look, as a
I wouldn't
game,
try to make a campaign out of like these simple steps.
as a
Let's go hunt the lizard. Let's go hunt the pickle.
as a game designer, I'm inclined to try to like better this system. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that it's good for what they're trying to do. Like it's functional for what the game is, right? But as personally, I would like a more fluid and organic storytelling. Even if we're saying that you're telling the most simplistic story ever, I would like to be more fluid, right? And this will help the problem of the story. Then when you want to play co-op, you cannot have with your partner all the time, right?
I think the problem. I think that problem is just
It's a
like
technical one.
a design choice that they made at some point.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of dumb. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that
It's a
they
technical
probably
one.
can figure that out easily.
Yeah, but if you have like the majority of the story, the main story in the field, that will make it more organic, right? A little bit more organic. I'm not saying like absolutely, like a little bit more organic in that
I know
terms.
what you mean,
Yeah.
and I really want to disagree because it's basically because you want, or if I'm getting what you're saying right,
Yes, yes,
what you
yes.
want is a strong narrative in
Yeah.
a game that
Yeah.
is, I feel like it's not designed for that.
Yes.
Like this game
Yes.
is more of a sandbox in that sense that it kind of
Yes, yes, yes,
just
yes.
throws you in the world and do your own adventure. Like
Yeah.
go explore.
Go hunt this monster, and we don't know. You have certain time, but we don't know how you're gonna do it.
Yeah, but more than that, like during the hunts, like you can get lost
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
looking
You
at
can
things
mine.
or fighting other monsters.
Yes,
And
yes.
if you're playing with your buddies, like we did because we played together,
Yeah.
we just had our own fun and our own story, and it was fun. It's
Yeah.
so I don't think I will strongly argue against trying to a narrative game out of what Monster Hunter World is. People might disagree with that, but
I don't know. As a game designer, I would like to have it all, right?
you cannot have it all.
No, I would like to try
That's
to have it all.
impossible. You have to make compromises.
You have to make compromises, but if you're a critic, then you're critiquing everything.
Oh no,
right?
my critique is that the story is super simple. Like just there's no story. Like that's not an interesting story to tell.
It's like, oh, there's
And
this weird dragon, and then origin of
yeah,
life. Ooh.
the whole story is, oh, there's a huge dangerous new dragon. Let's go kill it.
Yes.
The story weak. It's super weak. What I'm saying is that the way that they deliver it, like they know that that it's a weak story. It doesn't have any character development. It doesn't have any strong interactions between characters.
Yeah.
They do know it, and they say, okay, we're not gonna make it the focus out of it. We're gonna spread it out with a lot of downtime, as you explained.
Yes, yes, correct.
And then you don't feel the burden of like being immersed in this kind of boring and kind of lame story that is just.
And then at the end, it's so vanilla that we forgot that the reason why we're stopping the dragon is because it's gonna end the world, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Right? I don't think people play these games for the story.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. All right. And that's our talks about campaign. I would like a more fluid campaign, but the way it works in their favor, you're right. But then again, that's her opinion. All right. So the next,
there is.
So you have like the hunter rank, right? You talk about the hunter rank.
Yeah,
right?
so basically a campaign, you can finish the campaign before up to hunter rank 15, which is just a couple of hours of hunts actually.
Yeah.
And then they block your hunter rank on 15 until you kill the last boss, Sanejiro.
Yep.
Boss. The last monster. Once you do that, they unlock the next section of of ranks, which is from 15 to 29, where basically they introduce temper monsters,
Yeah,
but just the normal, like not elder dragons, just monsters.
just monsters. All right.
Yeah. And the next, so to surpass that milestone of Hunter rank 29, you have to hunt 2 temper B52s, which I think is it's a pretty interesting
200 diesel goods. 52s.
visuals. They're
They're
built.
like this big. Is it a wyvern, right? If I'm not wrong, right? They're wyverns.
Yeah, they're flying wyverns.
So basically it's like a big scaly dude with a small head with big wings that just like drops bombs or like hot
It drops
scales that explodes.
scales that explode.
Yeah. So
And
then
that's why people call them B52s.
52s. And
because
it's
they're
like
just
very and this thing
bombers.
this thing is like super endearing
Yeah.
because it's like the most how do you it's the most funny thing and then terrifying thing that you will find in the world because it's like, oh, what is that shadow? And then you hear him and then you start seeing dropping bombs in whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
And then he
that's
slaps
the
into
point.
you.
Like
And he
the
doesn't-
B52s are one of the apex hunters.
yeah.
And it's super, like the first time that you see one that you're doing another thing, just hunting your little monster,
And you're like, what?
and you hear it, and it just starts bombing you like poor
And then it
noob hunter.
yeah, and then
And
it's
you
like
explode.
and it's like the most in your face thing because after he bombs you, he actually slams into you. It's the only monster that does
Yeah.
this. He actually like throws himself into you. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. Anyway, so
Yeah, but
you get that.
my point with this is that, like, the specific mission that they require you to do is to hunt 2 temper B52s, Betelgeuse, and I like that they do it like that because it feels like they're basically telling you, up to this point, you have to understand the systems to be able to take these 2 monsters.
Yeah, basically it's a test like
That's-
you already
Yeah.
understand all the systems that we've been explaining you through the campaign, the hunt, the preparation, that you need to do upgrades, etc., how to handle like flying monsters, how to handle monsters on terrains.
Yeah. Like throughout the campaign, you'll be exposed to all the monsters in the game,
Yeah,
well, except the elder dragons. But like, no, including the elder dragons. Yeah, you should have hunt all of them. But like, the jump from normal to temper, like if you're not prepared for that jump, it's gonna bite you in the ass. Like
yeah.
at that point, you should really understand the mechanics of each hunt. Like you should be proficient enough using traps and your slinger and
And the
knowing
terrain and knowing where
using loadouts and all
exactly.
So it's, I really like it. Like it's a hard hunt when you do it the first time.
Yeah.
After that is easy, but like the first time it's actually a hard fight battle, and like like you have to rely on all your healing and your traps and your slinger shots.
Yeah, and then go into terrain and try to like dodge the explosions.
Hide.
Yeah,
Hide the monsters. I just think it's a pretty cool. It's well designed because it really forces you to be prepared and to engage with the system, because that's the only way that you're gonna succeed in the hunt. Like is fairly rare to be at that point in the game where you can just brute force your way through a hunt.
Yeah.
So I think it's really well thought. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It's like it's a really good point where to like give you like start showing you the hardest hunt, because so far you've been hunting like normal monsters, right? And then you get this like T2 like very hard bombers that they're gonna make your life a hell. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're hard to kill, and the hunt takes long time, and like and you go from one place to another. And I remember that we took like 3 fights in a row for these two
Yeah.
dudes. Like we fight the first time, he ran away, and then we fight the second time and he ran away again, and then we have to fight a third time and then kill him. And I took like consume a bunch of resources from us.
Yeah.
And it was like very hard to do. And then after that, we never wanted to hunt another of these dudes. Just start ignoring them.
Yeah, a little bit of PTSD after that.
and that's good because it's a very intimidating monsters and very annoying, right?
Yeah.
And it's like every time you see him, you're like, oh my god, go away, please, don't. I don't want it.
Take down, punch in the face.
I don't want to deal with you. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. What you're doing. You're farming, if you're mining, if you're fighting another monster, our tempo or not our tempo, or Elder Dragon or not Elder Dragon. He doesn't care.
He's gonna explode your ass.
Yeah, he just threw himself there. Anyway, so and then that's when you start to get into the later stage missions, and then you start doing side missions to get you more stronger, and then the next progression point, which is the Elder Dragons.
Which is actually the first Elder Dragon that you fight is Temper Kirin, which is again one of the milestones. He's basically the gatekeeper to a quote unquote endgame.
Yeah, basically, yes.
Because it works in the same way, you have your hunts to rank block at 49, so you cannot advance more than that after until you kill Temper Kirin, and basically he's the gatekeeper to tell you, okay, now you have mastered quote unquote all the Temper monsters.
And all the majority of the systems of the game, right?
Yeah. Now the big boys come into place, which are the Temper Elder Dragons.
And it is very weird that this guy is the...
Oh, it's so hard.
It's so hard
Temper
to kill.
Kirin is so hard to kill, especially at that point in the game.
Yeah, when you're not...
It's so hard.
When you are not prepared, you don't have all the decorations, you're not nearly close to have good armor. And this guy is just looks at you funny, and then you explode in a thunderstorm.
you know what happened to me? This was the first monster for which I had to select armor pieces that will give me
an advantage.
Thunder defense.
Yeah. I remember
because
this.
if you don't have armor specifically to hunt Temper Kirin, is gonna one-shot you every time. He looks at you, one-shots you.
And this is the point where the game tells you to look. There is certain monsters that are so dangerous that you actually need to build for them. Because till this point, you got with a generic...
Matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You got with a generic armor, whatever gives you the best stats for whatever weapon you're using.
Yeah, and, just care about the stats. The resistance of the armor, they don't care. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. I just want damage and go and hit the monster in the face. But for this guy will look at you funny, and it's it is funny because it's at least for me, is the less interesting Elder Dragon. Is the least interesting Elder Dragon. He's super small.
I think it's the more interesting because it's the most different.
It's the most different, but I mean in terms of showiness, right? In terms of in terms of the other
if you want.
Yeah, the other dragons, the other Elder Dragons are Nergigante, which is this big cat. It's big cat. Look at me.
Big spiky cat.
It's this big, super intimidated, dragon, and then you have spiky cat. Yeah, and then you have what is the other name? The flying dragon with the wind. What is the name? Kushala. Yeah. And then you have Kushala, which is this very classic dragon. Intimidated bronze dragon, metallic, super dragon, intimidated. Yeah. And then you have Balhazak, which is insane in terms of visual.
Is my favorite one, actually.
Yeah, it's insane. It looks absolutely crazy. It's this big rotten dragon, walks with And in that fight is insane too because you're dying constantly to dot damage. And like it's
Yeah.
super showy, super intimidating. And then you have like Teostra and Lunastra, which are big kitties that are same as intimidating. But this horse, this lightning horse, is like,
it's a pony.
It's a pony, super, super cute. Right? And he's like, and he's a pacifist. You can like walk with him. And he will not attack
he
you.
never attacks you until you attack him, which I also think is a pretty nice concept because it's like it gives you time to wind up to a fight. Like you can go around looking at him and like
and that makes it like the most weird introduction, but the most smart one because it's the most difficult of the temper in terms of like hitting him because he's so small and he moves really fast.
And he only has one weak point.
Yeah.
In the face.
Yeah, in the face. It's super small.
Yeah, super hard to hit.
Super hard to hit, right? And then you get very clearly introduced to the Elder Dragon mechanics, which is what is it? Elder Seal? The mechanic that they become resistant.
Elder Seal,
And then your weapons start bouncing off their attacks and you don't do no damage to them. And it's like, what am I doing? How am I gonna kill this dude?
Yeah.
I just have to run away and like let him chill out because he's in a fury state and they become resistant to all damage and everything bounces. And I've been playing like bow all this time. And that is the and then I start seeing my like I shoot an arrow and it's just like
zeros.
Zero damage. And you're like, okay. What I'm gonna do. And then the fight becomes like so much tenser with this dragon because you have to learn to be patient, right?
Yeah. You have to prepare for at least the first couple of times.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared for a like long fight that's gonna take you a while to completely master. Like just learn the movements and everything.
Yeah, and they make you super aware of weak points because
it becomes super important to identify the weak points just to be a little bit more efficient, not be wasting your sharpness.
Yeah, into these attacks that doesn't have no damage in that state, and it's like, and once you kill this horse, it's like, oh my god.
Now we have to kill all of them, but tempered.
Yeah. Oh man, the Arc Temper fights are insane. They're super hard. Yeah, I like. And then after that, you kill this horse, and then you get like HR unlimited. I think it's like, what is the cap of the HR, right?
I think the cap is like 999.
Something, 999 is the cap. Something ridiculous.
Which hunter rank are you? I forget.
I don't remember. I think last time I checked, it was like 200 something, 258 something. That ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah, around 250 something. So we have hunt a lot.
Yeah, we have hunt quite a lot. And talking about those hunts, let's get into the tools for the hunt.
Oh my god, look. Oh my god, the weapon systems. All right. You have to understand one thing about Monster Hunter. We've been speaking about Hunter rank, but Hunter rank doesn't give you anything.
That's just a number in the game.
It's just a number in the game. The only thing that gives you is access to activities. Yeah. That's it. It doesn't give you more toughness or more nothing.
It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. So for me, the genius of Monster Hunter is that is an RPG game that is not tied to a tree system or to a XP system or to a progressively upgraded system in the normal sense, right?
Not in the traditional Diablo 2 sense.
Yeah, not in the traditional RPG common sense when you level up and you get points to spend in X, Y, Z.
Not in the D&D sense.
Yeah, I think that's the route, right? That's the normal RPG.
It may be.
Experience points and you level up your points, and like bazillion of games have these systems. Yeah. Even games that are not RPG have these systems now.
Oh, right? Nowadays every game has that.
Yeah, but the genius.
That's the new trope.
The genius of Monster Hunter is like you don't have that. Right? You don't have that.
Yeah.
What do you have is a weapon. And if we're talking about Monster Hunter as an RPG, where does the role playing comes, right? Where do I put my signature in the game? Where do I do what I want to do, and how do I express myself through the game? Because in general RPG games, you have classes, right? You have like mages and fighters and sorcerers. No. Here, everything is
Or
tied
tanks.
to the weapon type that you choose. And this is
And
like,
there are 14 weapons.
yeah, and there are 14 weapons.
It sounds like okay, someone will say, oh, but there are only 14. But no, like this kind of translate that there are 14 different ways of
To
playing
play
the game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, mwah, mwah. It's like the genius, the Japanese genius that come with this idea of tying progression to your skill with a weapon, right? Because that's the way that you feel fulfilled in Monster Hunter World. You choose a weapon that either you like, sound cool, right? Or like you like how they play or what it is, right? And I remember when we started, I saw the and all right, let's talk about the weapons per se, right? So we have Greatsword,
Which is the poster child.
which is the poster child of Monster Hunter World. When you go search Monster Hunter World, you see a dude with like
a big ass sword. That's a great sword.
Yeah, like a cloud, like a sword that is like as big as him or a little bit bigger, right? And this, and if you are gonna try this game, please do not start by using the Greatsword.
No, start.
All right.
That's
Just
bullshit.
like throw them into a pond.
I completely disagree with that.
Fair.
With that advice, just go to a game, try whatever you want, and see how you feel.
And see, all right, fair enough.
That's the beauty, actually, of the weapon system.
Yeah. I will not advise it. Start with a Greatsword because it's a very hard weapon to learn, but that's part of the beauty of the game, right? So we have this, and this is a heavy weapon. This is like kind of like a tank weapon. It does a ton of damage, but it's super slow. You're gonna be super slow. You have to learn the weirdest thing, which you have to learn to move around. You should put your weapon away and then move around, and then you take your weapon.
You have to shield your weapon, move, and like do the regular in battle maintenance of like healing yourself or putting traps. And to all of that, you have to shield your weapon and do it, because when it's out, when the weapon is out, you're like super slow.
And it's the slowest hitting weapon in the game, but it's the hardest one. So if you want to like slap a monster with like a big thing in the face and do like massive damage, this is
not in the face. You're such a bad player.
All right.
Not in the face.
Not in the face. Not in the face.
You know why?
I know why. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Not in the face.
Not in the face.
Not with a Greatsword.
Not with a
The Greatsword is not for the face.
Go
break that tail. That's your work.
Or go try to like make a insane amount of damage and like mount a monster. Anyways.
Not in the face. That's not your place.
I know. and then after that you have the longsword, which is, as we call it, the anime weapon of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's the weave weapon.
The weave weapon. So this is like a classic like katana-like sword, which is actually like a double katana sword, and then you have these like wide slashes that with all these effects, and you feel like, I don't know, Rurouni Kenshi or something like that.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to feel like an anime swordman, play longsword.
Play longsword. Like you want to feel like Naruto, like wah! Then you chop him off, or you like do the nani omae wa nani, and you kill somebody. I don't know.
I guess.
You make all the anime references playing this sword. That's the point.
True. But it's, actually a mechanic that it has with the gauge to charge it and do your spirit attacks. It's super interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Remarkable. Every weapon that we're gonna talk about has a different mechanic.
Yeah, each one of them has its own gimmick and
his own things.
All 14 of them are different between them. It's just...
And how you manage. And the longsword is like one of the most simple ones, because the only thing that you have to be careful is charging the you just have a charging shot. So you hit your first time, and then you can charge it again, and then hit the second time, and then you charge it again, and you hit it a third time. Right? That's it. That's
Yeah,
that's that's the mechanic. Because it doesn't have like a complex mechanic in the weapon, because using the weapons is complex enough, because you have to shoot it all the time to actually move. You have to know when to hit it, because it's so slow. That is the hinder of the weapon. That is the complexity of the weapon.
yeah. You're
When
talking
to
about
hit
the
with
great
it.
sword.
Yeah, I'm talking about the great sword.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
should have
forgot.
mentioned that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't clear.
I forgot. Sorry. And then the longsword. The longsword has the mechanic. It has two interesting mechanics. One, it has a small dodge when you can pass through the monster and he won't hit you on certain points. And then you have this gauge that you gotta fill it up, and you have to do combos to fill up the gauge
Yeah,
and a
it
finisher.
it has like a fairly straightforward combo system. Like
Yeah,
you
super
have to
super
learn a
easy.
couple of combos that you apply that fill up a gauge, and while it is fill up, you kind of unlock your ultimate,
Your ultimate.
which is the cheating is the cheating ultimate of the game because it cannot bounce.
Yeah, you
So
can bounce on anything.
kind of BS.
and it has this flashy animation of like super anime.
Oh,
Like, oh,
it's the weirdest thing around. Like you should go to YouTube and look for a long sword gameplay. It's the weirdest thing around
Yeah,
with how it
please
shoots the.
check them out. It's like hilarious.
It's actually quite satisfying to land a hit with
It's
the thing,
super
but just
satisfying, yeah.
so anime. Like
Yeah. And in this weapon is like super forgiving. Like the slashes are super.
oh yeah,
It has like a
yeah.
big damage, but in multiplayer they hate it because it flinches a lot of people because it has such a wide slashes. It covers
Yeah,
such a big area.
It's definitely one of the most noob friendly weapons to pick.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and then we have the sword and shield. Oh my god.
My main.
His please talk about this weapon. I've never even touched it.
It's actually you have never played Sword and Shield?
No.
It's super easy. It's just it's is the I can do everything. I'm master of nothing. Weapon in the game, basically. Yeah, it's in a sense the most versatile one, and the gimmick in Monster Hunter World for the Sword and Shield is that you can consume items and craft stuff
Yeah.
without shitting the weapon. So
Yeah.
So
that's
in
the
that
gimmick of Sword and
sense,
Shield. Yeah.
yeah.
They're changing
So
this
it's-
in Iceborne, but
Yeah, this is changing for Iceborne, but this is how it works in Monster Hunter World.
yep. And
That's
the sword
what it was.
shield. You have a small shield. Okay. Do you
Did
block
you have a
with that
small
shield?
shield?
Do you ever
Sorry?
block with that?
You can do everything with that.
All right.
No, I mean that's the whole point. Like, if you wanna block stuff, you
Yeah.
have your shield. If you wanna do knockdown damage,
Yeah.
you hit with the shield.
Oh,
If you wanna cut
okay.
the tail, you have your sword. If
So
you wanna
super
do
flexible.
combos, the sword have combos. If you
And-
wanna do mounting damage, you can do mounting damage. It
But
has
for-
everything.
for
It's
me,
just
it's-
master of none.
for me, it's the less impressive. They look cool. Like every weapon in this game looks cool, but the sword and shield, like the actual sword, it doesn't look like a sword, but more like a machete.
Yeah, so, some of them even look like just axes or blunt
Yeah.
weapons,
Yeah.
even though they still do slicing damage.
Yeah.
But you still can cut tails with that.
And so how's the loop for the actual sword and shield?
It doesn't have any gimmick really. Like basically how I play it, and that's my personal thing.
Yeah.
Is I do there is one combo where you like attack and you charge down to air attack
Yeah.
to mounting damage.
Yeah.
I basically spam that at the beginning of the fight to have the usually 2 mount that you can get in a fight.
Yes.
I do a mount, then I do a lot of damage with the sword, and then I just keep dodging and hitting the monster with my little stick. But the actual reason why I pick, I did some research before we went into a game about which weapon should I pick, and I pick sword and shield because it's one of the most forgiving ones. Like it's super easy to dodge attacks.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to shit; you can just roll away.
Yeah.
And basically, what it allowed me to do was learn the monsters without thinking too much about my weapon. So like you could say, it's a fairly easy weapon to pick up and to play. And what that allowed me was, okay, I'm gonna focus on learn the monster. So the movement sets, the timings,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff. That's what I pick it up. And I agree, it's kind of a simple weapon, but I love it. It carried me through the whole game. I can like
Absolutely.
now I can hunt all the monsters with a certain shield, so
Yeah.
it's fine. It's as capable as any other weapon. It may
Yeah.
not be the most efficient for speed running stuff, but it can certainly hunt all the monsters with this.
Fine. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just I wanted to learn the monsters. I wanted to learn the moves. I wanted to learn that. And Certain Shield basically just allowed me to kind of not care that much and just to have a forgiving weapon
Yeah.
because I'm not that skilled. I'm not that good. That was that,
Yeah,
that,
that's
that was
fine.
it, and
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
that's why that you'll find in a lot of guides and places that people recommended it to
Yep.
newcomers
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. It's
to the
absolutely
series.
true.
So
Yeah. All right. That's a sword shield. The next weapon is dual blades, which Lucho played to like in the later stage of the game a lot.
that's that's the second weapon that I pick up because it looks cool AF.
And then this
It's
is
the other whip weapon of the game.
and not the other way weapon of the game. This is the Naruto type weapon because you actually do the
Sadly,
Naruto rune.
it's so sadly true. I hate that
Like,
so much.
Every time I see Lucho running through the monster in his Naruto, I start hearing in my head.
I know.
I
I hate that so much. I hate that anime so much. But aside from that, like
Aside from that, yeah.
dual
So-
blades are one of the status applying kings on the game because basically they do attack fast, but they do small numbers of damage. So
yeah,
it's kind of the other side of the spectrum to a great sword.
yeah. The point is like attack very fast. This weapon attacks a lot fast, has fast combo, and they
Yeah.
just want like make like constant DPS, constant damage to the monster through small attacks, right? And he has the demon meter, which is a demon dance, which is fantastic. I think that part of the weapon is really cool.
It's a god. It's a little thing that you charge whenever you're. So a main thing for the weapon is that you want to have a lot of stamina to enter into demon mode.
Yep.
Then do as much damage as you can in demon mode to charge your little thing
Yep.
once, and without letting your stamina go completely to zero, leave demon mode and enter that middle state, which name I forgot. It's like
Normal mode.
demon something.
Demon dance, whatever.
Yeah, it's just like whenever your thing is completely filled, like you do more damage than in the base state of the weapon, but less than the full demon mode.
Yeah.
So the whole gameplay with the dual blades is to manage your stamina bar,
Yeah.
so that you're always in that kind of either in demon mode or on the previous version of that.
Yeah.
And
There you
that's
go.
what the gameplay with the
Yeah.
dual blades are.
And it's
Yes.
super interesting because you have to dodge a lot in it, and you have to run a lot.
Oh yeah,
around the
yeah.
monster.
This weapon is all about just being fast and agile.
Yeah, and like your reach is super small, so you have to actually get
yeah.
super close to the monster to actually hit him.
It's a nail clipper weapon.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. And like your
Like if a
sword,
monster flies a little bit,
like
you
if
cannot hit it.
if you think if you think dual swords, you think like I have two swords. No. We're talking about like dual knives.
It's two pocket knives. That's what that is.
Two fucking knives. Like, and you're like, it is super funny to see. Not to play. To play is super fun, but to see is super funny because you see the person getting close to the monster, super close to the monster, while you're like doing like distance or whatever, and then and then run away.
Yeah, that's what the game looks like.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you're like, you hear like a very small bit, and then you run away.
But that's like dual blades is an interesting weapon because since you have to be so up close to the monster, you have to like basically a weapon gives you the chance to like you can dodge pretty far away.
Yeah.
So it's still somehow forgivable when you don't dodge at the right time, but it just allows you to learn like the tools for the attacks.
Yeah.
So when
So you
like
can dodge properly.
all the attacks from the monsters are kind of telegraphed, like
In
in a
some
sense,
shape or
some way or
form, yeah, yeah.
another.
There's
And
some that are
basically,
more telegraphs than other, and there are some that are less
yeah, but
telegraphs than other.
pretty
But
much
yeah,
all of them like
yeah,
are telegraphed in a way. And what I found that is that with dual blades, I got really good at dodging. Like for like since it has a couple of since basically the main combo, the demon dance thing, you cannot get out of that. You learn how
yeah,
to manage that. Like you're locked in that animation. You kind of learn how to when to do it, and it for me it helped me like train my timing in the fight.
yeah,
That
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah.
That's just, and don't get me wrong. Every weapon on this game can hunt a monster, no problem.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah, no problem.
You just have to be good at it.
Yeah, you have to be good, proficient. And then we have the hammer, which is the knockout king.
Is the one that hits in the face.
Is the one that hits in the face. Yeah.
It's
So
the blunt weapon that you have to sharpen.
Yeah, it's the blunt weapon that you what?
That you have to sharpen.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, don't worry, like in Monster Hunter, you have this sharpen system. Well,
Yeah.
your weapon as being a weapon, like true to form, which is very interesting system in Monster Hunter. I haven't seen like in little to no games when your weapon damages because it becomes frustrating. Like this happened with Zelda Breath of the Wild when they put like a system when your weapons break and then people like complain a lot because you have to like keep around all these weapons just because they break and they become trash. But Monster Hunter has a similar system when you have to because you're hitting your weapon against something that is very hard, so the weapon will receive damage as damage is being received, like as a natural object, right? So they have this sharpen system, which depending on the color of your sharpen, you do more damage because your weapon is sharpened. Everything makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Right?
You just
Very
have
natural.
to maintain it.
And then you have to keep being aware of that. You have to take off in some points of your fight to actually tend to your weapon so your weapon can do damage. The weapon will never stop doing damage, but it will reduce the amount of damage that it does if it gets less and less sharp.
If you let it go to if you let it reach the lowest sharpness level, it will do really bad numbers.
But it will still do damage. That's my point. Like
it still does damage, but like come on, like
yeah, come on, sharpen your weapon, and that makes it
like 1 point of damage.
Yeah, and I think this is a very interesting mechanic to weave into the hunt because it forces you to take a step back and actually try to like learn how the monster moves, right? Which is one of the most different things to actually do in the game, to actually learn what the monster does, right? And in a normal like video game hunt, if you're gonna go kill a boss, you just DPS him, right? Just go ham and whatever. He ran away. Well, I'm gonna chase it and whatever. But in Monster Hunter, you have to learn how the monster behaves so you can actually hunt him properly. And
like the fights are really well paced.
Yeah. And this system force the player to do that, to like take a second, stop while you sharpen, because you have to find those windows to actually continue to do damage and learn how the monster moves. That's the point of the game. Learn how to properly hunt and engage with him, right? And this mechanic really helps with that. The fact that you have to, in the middle of fights, you have to stop for a second and sharpen your weapon. Makes you like get into the pace of the game, because so many times you go to a fight and you just want to kill the thing, right? Just want to go ham and like fight all the time, right? That's the nature of the majority of games with bosses, right? Just get in there and fight the thing, right? Till it dies.
But there is something that I want to mention, and is that these monsters are no bosses. Like,
they're not bosses, but they feel like it.
They don't. Completely disagree. They don't feel like bosses. And that's what's refreshing of the game for me.
Well, they don't feel like. Well, I know what you get, but they're designed as if we're bosses, right?
Not really.
They all have like different mechanics. They all have different movements. They all have different things.
Sure, but they don't feel like bosses.
They don't feel like bosses. That's arguable. All right, let's continue with the weapons, and then we'll come back to this. So the hammer. So he's the knockout king. In Monster Hunter, you have things that you can apply, a status that you can apply to the monsters. You can apply elemental status, electric, fire, water, ice, and am I forgetting anything? Toxic.
Electric, weather. No.
Toxic, yeah. And toxic, sleep. So you can like apply different status to the games to the monsters. And
you have to be careful. Not all of them. Like some of them are status. Other of those are afflictions. Like
all right.
Like you have elemental status and that's important.
Okay, that's important. Yeah. So there are afflictions. Anyways, and one
not
of them.
Anyways.
All right. I'm sorry.
Not anyways.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So the hammer applies knockout damage. So if you hit a monster on the head enough times, like anything living, it will eventually get drowsy, knocked down, or die. Like it's natural.
Knocked down, yeah.
Yeah, so the monster will get knocked down. And why is this important? Because in knockdown state, the monster is still, and you can like apply tons of damage to it. Like you can do a lot of damage. That's your super DPS phase when the monster is down in the ground, not doing anything, and you just like go ham on it. So the hammer is very important for that. It's a blunt weapon, like generally they're big, round, very hammery-like things, very big.
Is the stun MVP of the game.
Yeah, and they're like middle of the road. You're not slow like with the greatsword, and you're relatively fast like with the longsword. Kind of like that's the speed of the hammer.
They're really not that fast. Like
they're not really that fast, but considerably agile for what like a big hammer is, right? You don't expect like such a big weapon give you like that agility.
It's still like I would still put it on the slow weapon category, like with the great sword and the lance. Like you have to know your monster so that you don't get locked in an animation and get run over.
Yeah, right.
And you have to shoot the weapon, and you move actually fairly slow with it, unless you're spinning around.
and the mechanic of the weapon is like, I think it's the less mechanically demanding weapon. You just have like combos, but besides that, you have like a charge that you can do, where you charge the hammer to hit harder, and then you run around with your hammer charge, and that's it. That's about the mechanic. You are more proficient like in learn the actual combos to do a lot of knockout damage and positioning with the hammer. That's the complexity of the hammer, I will say.
Fair. That's true. Yeah. I would argue that the slower weapons in the game are a little bit harder to master because you have to know the game better.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't like. The hammer is a really satisfying weapon to hunt with. Like it's just super fun to be on the monster face, hitting them all the time till they knock down. But it takes a lot. Like it's not that easy. Like I don't know. Yeah. I find it hard to learn the hammer. It took me a while.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All these weapons has their own complexity beyond of There's some that have more mechanics to keep track of. But they're all as complex all the others in terms of like how difficult it is to master one or the other weapons. Yeah. So and the next one is the weird cousin of the hammer, which is the hunting horn, and this is the weirdest weapon ever, man.
It is. It is one of the weirdest weapons.
It's the weirdest weapon. And it's like and like I know why it's so weird, because it's like if you're making a traditional RPG class system in weapons, how you make a support? And
you give them a bagpipe.
Yeah, you give him a bagpipe, and then you let him like sing in the middle.
You make a bard.
Yeah, you make a bard. So traditionally, this is like a hammer, but you actually sing songs with it while you're hitting the monster.
It's a bagpipe.
It's a bagpipe. So this is marvelous, and it's the weirdest thing ever, because this is like so the way it works is like you have this hammer, right? And you go and hit notes, right? And you charge songs into the actual hammer. And I know it
Yeah.
sounds the weirdest thing ever, but like every single note is a different attack. So if you wanna hit like a sharp note, then you hit like a quick attack, and then you hit like a double attack for another note, and you hit a heavy attack for the other note, right?
No.
And then every hammer, every hunting horn,
Has different notes.
every hunting horn
and
can
song.
have different songs.
Yeah.
And the hunting horn has a base song, which is the song that gives you buffs to you personally, which is the speed song. So this
Yeah,
is a
that's-
slow weapon technically, right? But if you do the normal song, it gives you so much attack speed and speed that it becomes a middle weapon, a middle speed weapon, right? You stop being slow and you become middle. So it's super important. Like the game stresses you that before every fight, you should sing your songs for you to prepare for the hunt, right? And you see me doing this, right? I say, I hit nothing, and then I sing a song, and then I start fighting. And it's because the initial buff that the hunting horn gives you, that all the hunting horns share, is very important for the actual fight of the horn. And then you have like every category of support that you can imagine. You have healing song when you can heal, and then so the way it works is like you charge your song, and then you hit one of the thumbsticks buttons, one of the special attack buttons, and then you hit the monster with a progression of combo, and then you sing for a second, and then this song is applied. So you have a speed buff, healing buff, earplugs buffs, every support that you can imagine in an area.
Basically, each song gives you a buff or something like that.
Yeah, and the thing is like it's not that you sing the song and you're done, but you have to keep these songs. These songs are not infinite, and they have a duration. So
they have timers. That's quite normal.
And the other thing is like it's not that you can get out of the fight and then just sing your song in a corner. You actually have to get into the fight and do damage to the monster. Because you sometimes see those like hunting horns when you're like in groups, that they just go into a corner and then just start hitting the ground and apply.
I mean,
you can do that.
You can do that. You can go full. You can go full Palico build. You playing hunting horn and buffing them.
Oh yeah, this is crazy.
Without ever hitting the monster.
Yeah, without. But my point is the weapon still does damage. You can go knock out monsters.
The weapon is still designed to do damage, but like you can it has so much freedom that you can even avoid that. Like you can just play full on support. I don't want to hit the monster.
Yeah, I don't want to hit the monster, and they just farming for me. It's the weirdest thing ever, because you're playing all this. You can actually fight with the weapon. It's a good, decent weapon in terms of damage. If you find a good hunting horn that gives you damage buffs, gives you attack damage buffs, so you can have like a really hard, or you have a purely support when you don't do that much damage, but the buffs that are applying to your party are very good. Anyways, like the weirdest weapon.
I don't think it's that weird. I think it's a really ingenious solution to
the support problem.
To how do we build a support while still keeping it able to do solo hunts, because that's kind of one of the things. A lot of people like to play alone, and if you want to play hunting horn, you can still do the whole thing and kill the monster.
Yeah.
And still buff yourself and your cat companion.
Yeah.
Your Palico. Which I think it's an amazing solution. It's
an amazing solution.
Let's take a hammer and just slap a bagpipe on the head.
And we're done. And all the hammer sounds different.
And it works.
And it's really cool. I really like this weapon. Like, I know that it's the weirdest weapon ever, but I really like it. Especially when I play with groups. Or like
I really like the hunting horn, actually.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Like it has its charm.
It has its charm. Yeah, that's the thing.
The community don't agree that much because it's one of the least played weapons in the game.
Yeah.
But it's It's nice. I like a hunting horn.
Yeah, it's fine. It's very fun. I find it very fun when I take it
Yeah.
to hunts. Anyways, now then we have the lance, which is the most standard weapon that you can imagine as the lance.
We have the archetypical tank in the game.
Yes, this is the tank section. Very good. This is the tank section. With you have like a big shield, and then you block the majority of the monster's attack, and then you poke them with the lance.
And you kill them with pokes.
You kill them with pokes and
trust.
And trust.
Trust up. Trust in the middle. That's how attacks are called.
Yeah, and then you have the weirdest mechanic, which is the running lance, the one that you charge. Yeah. You're in a horse, and then you charge through the monster, and then you come back and charge him again, and they're kind of unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there is the tank. Yeah, it's the tank. These two are like mainly tank builds in the game. And you just like don't dodge the majority of the attacks, but you just like raise your shield and block the majority of things that the monster can tell you. There's some attacks that are unblockable, and there's some attacks where you can stun the monster if you block properly.
Yep.
All right, but this is like if you don't want to move, you just want to like face tank everything.
You are a fortress.
You're a fortress.
Nothing is gonna move you. That's what the lance is.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a pretty like when you play lance, like you have to completely change your mindset.
Absolutely.
Because with a lot of the other games, like you worry about shooting and dodging, but with the lance, no, it's like literally you have to be a rock.
Yeah.
You have to be a mountain. You just put your shield and you sit in front of the monster and you poke it with your little stick.
Absolutely.
And for sure, you're gonna dodge, but it's so rare when you're playing lance.
Yeah.
That is, this is one of the most fascinating weapons for me because it's just so different. Like a lot of the dodging, like muscle memory that you build, doesn't apply. Like you just put your shield and poke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the weirdest because the majority of the weapon you have to roll around, dodge, move away, try to like get away from every attack of the monster is doing, blah blah blah. But with the lance and the gun lance, which is the next one, you just stay still, face tank the monster, and poke him to death. You are bigger than him.
It's so different from the other weapons that it's like it's kind of a whiplash if you change from
something else.
I don't know.
To
let's
this.
say let's say bow or dual blades to lance. It's like whoa, this is another game.
Yeah, exactly. Change absolutely your perspective. You become like a super tank. Anyways, and in terms of like what the lance does, it has like some charge thrusters and then the running, and there's not much to it. And then you have to learn to block, basically.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's. You have to again know how to read the movement, the attacks of the monsters.
Yeah, because
to know when to block, to know which attacks you can block and
which
and
ones
poke
you
it.
can
Follow it and poke it.
Follow it and poke it. Yeah, because you have a stamina meter, and blocking will drain your stamina meter, so you cannot like block forever. You have to learn how to block with the monster.
And you have to be able to have a lot of stamina.
Yeah. Then we have
to recover stamina fast.
Yes.
Stamina fast.
Yep. Yeah. And then we have the gun lance, which is the lance, but you attach a cannon instead of a lance in the tip of the lance. And you have shelling, which is
a shotgun. That's what that is. It's a shotgun
with a shield
strapped to a point of the lance.
Yes, it's a shotgun strapped to the point of the lance, and you have a shield still to block, and you can like be attacked.
But it doesn't block as much.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't block that much. Yeah, that is true. But you still have a shield. You can like.
You still have a pretty good shield. Yeah.
Yeah, you still have like do proper blockage with the gun lance.
Yeah.
But in this is like, I don't know. I found this weapon endearing because it's super flashy. Like every time you shoot. All right, boys, we run a little bit longer in this podcast. So for the sanity of everybody, we decided to split in two parts. So don't worry about it. The second part will be coming and we will pick it up where we left now, talking about the Gunlands in Monster Hunter World. Nevertheless, thanks a lot for watching or listening to the podcast. We were Lucho as the farmer and myself, the Long Gamer, as the sweaty. Please follow us, subscribe, like, leave us a comment for the next podcast. And part 2 will come next week, so don't worry about it. Our social media are for Lucho is at Luis G. Polanco. For myself as the Long Name Gamers, at the Long Name Gamer. And I'm on Twitch, in Twitch TV/TLNG, where I stream Mondays to Friday. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe to the Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. And see you next time for part 2. Love you all, guys. Bye-bye.